So on page 83, he talks about the third world, which I think is a good one, and it kind of links up again to the propaganda often issued by socialist history, so-called. So he says here, it was not vain disquisitions about a vague concept of justice that raised the standard of living of the common man in the capitalistic countries to its present height, but the activities of men dubbed as, quote, rugged individualists and, quote, exploiters. The poverty of the backward nations is due to the fact that their policies of expropriation, discriminatory taxation, and foreign exchange control prevent the investment of foreign capital, while their domestic policies preclude the accumulation of indigenous capital. So he's talking about the third world here, and he's saying that the they could gain a lot from actually implementing proper free market principles, and the reason for their poverty has nothing to do with. I hear all kinds of things about European or North American companies going to Africa and keeping them poor, or going to India, whatever it might be, and which is ridiculous, because then I just simply retort to them, well, okay, so if all those companies just left, then things would be better? No, obviously not. So some people have very poor thinking on these issues, and I think a lot of them are very complicit. They're very complicit in poverty and death in Africa, in India, and places like that, when they don't consider what those companies are providing and what the alternatives would be if those companies were not able to be there. Like if they just simply close their doors. So you take like a country like Sudan, and they just close. Actually, I think, are they North and South Sudan now? I think they might have split. But if they just simply close their doors to any European investment or any North American companies that might have factories there, yeah, their country would be better off. No, their country would just slip further back to the default state of mankind, which is poverty. And another a good point here that Mises makes, which I think is often overlooked, is that it's harder and harder to accumulate indigenous capital. Like, that's very important. The country itself cannot even become wealthier because it's very hard to make money in the country because of all their harsh regulations and often dictatorial governments. And basically, if you want the worst case of a status society, it's the third world. If you want to make any money in the third world, you have to pay off all kinds of people in the government or soldiers or whatever it might be. These are the pinnacles of status societies, and why would people want to move closer to that kind of society? You want more of these things. You want more regulations. You want the regulations that happen in the third world. You want to actually have to pay off people to start a business, and then they come around every now and then, harass you, and take more of your money or empty out your little bank machine because they're corrupt, and you want more of that kind of stuff. Like, it's just crazy that the various deluded people in the world look at places like Cuba and think, we wish the United States was that way. Like, those people should just move there. If they think that socialism would be so great, it's possible to move to places that are more socialistic. But oh no, 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 they're not going to do that, of course, because they like the benefits of capitalism while denouncing capitalism as an idea and being anti-capitalist. It's very difficult to find the anti-capitalists who do not live like capitalists. It's just I don't know if it's a human psychological vice or what it is.